Greetings and welcome to Taxonomy Tuesdays, the April 29th, 2025 edition. We have a presentation by Christopher this evening, and then we have people who are sharing observations. Uh, if you don't have, if you haven't let me know already that you have observations to share, put your name in the chat and I'll make sure to put you in the queue. So, you want to take it away, Christopher?
Sure thing. So I was in Clayton Park this weekend looking for mushrooms.
So, Christopher's presentation is you found a mushroom, a fungus rather. Now what?
Yeah, because we come here to do Taxonomy Tuesday, and sometimes it's just a picture of a lot like this one, just some caps poking out of the leaves, and it's kind of hard to tell what that may or may not be. So, it definitely starts here, and sometimes, as you can see in the picture, I put some deliberate leaves in the photo, because it's by some oak trees and some uh, some beech trees. And then you got to do something with it. You got to remove it somehow. Maybe if you want to look at more. So I take my knife here in the bottom right hand side and I stab it in the ground next to the mushroom and just pop it right out. So then you get the whole thing, and a photo like this is good and helpful because now you can see the gills and the attachment along with the top. So you have a top and the bottom.
And I noticed you were very careful to get the even the bottom of the stem so the stem didn't break off, Chris.
This is a very important note because some mushrooms have a bulb or a vulva, or some of them are just deeper than others, and that's important information to have. And some of these are, if you find them on a log, you still want to do all of the same things. Find the attachment of where they are, maybe look underneath where they're sitting for evidence of spores. That's usually a good place to find them as well. Try to get as close as you can. And, if you don't plan on eating them, you just take what you need to do. And then, same thing, try to position it in a way that allows you to get a photo that encompasses everything. This is my favorite way of transporting them now because I'm a dog owner. And if you puff up the bag, it really helps. It's a gentle way of carrying them around. And I don't really carry any sort of paper bags or anything else like that. So this is really convenient. The thing you always have in your pocket if you're out walking your dog. Then I like to position them at home when I get some photos with my little black background I made with a piece of paper and some Sharpie. And my little stand that's just a nail and a piece of wood. And then I could get out this little lens kit. These are pretty cheap online. They're a little weird to take with you out into the woods anywhere, but they just clip right onto the phone, just like that. And really, that gets you as good as trying to hold your loop, if that's what you have, and trying to focus through the loop while you're trying to focus the loop on your thing. That can be really difficult. And you could get those real nice close-up photos of whatever you need to do, and it's just way more convenient. Sometimes you could get a good shot of the right spot, and that's all the spore color you might need to identify something.
So when you're taking close-up shots like this, Chris, what features are you looking to particularly capture?
Well, on that one, I had noticed the spores, so that was it. But on this one, really that attachment
The
that you
way
can
that
get
gill attaches to the stem.
or not.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to do all of this, that window right there behind me. The light doesn't pour in the window, but that natural light is so much better for the color every single time instead of, any sort of light bulb. Oh, so then the colors are really true to color. I mean, that is about as close as it's going to get. And even if you look close on this one, you can get the spore color a little bit. Same thing, sitting on the stipe.
The stipe is another name for the stem, right, Chris?
Yes, it is. And how these actually attach as opposed to the last one, which don't. Same thing, just as many details as you can get is just always helpful. Sometimes you just pick something random off a log, and you still kind of want to know what it is. So
So
you shove it in.
when you pick something off a log, is it important to know what kind of wood it is?
It if you can get get that information, it's nice. But a lot of times when they're on the ground, if unless you're standing in a grove of all that tree, it's kind of hard to know, especially after things like this have been eating it a while. But a glass of water, you can certain kinds they'll reconstitute a bit after a little while, which I'll have some more of that in a later one after it's been a while. When you guys were planning your wedding and you were saying, well, I like to try to get all of the the shelf like rings at the ends, any kind of details that might be important. The pores, the and what's may or may not have happened to them in time. Scale is something I don't nearly do enough of and need to get better at personally. I never remember to take anything out of my pocket, anything at all. The coin, the lighter, a little measure that I found that goes inside of a binder. And you just throw down whatever that item is, and that quarter in the first bit there is plenty to now know how big all of that stuff is.
And it looks like you laid them out there to collect a spore print in that previous photo. Is that right?
Yes,
So
which
could you talk a little bit about how you have your setup there?
that's exactly what I'm getting to. So I like doing it on non-porous surfaces. I got a piece of glass in the top one that I just really like a piece of glass because then I can take it and kind of move it around over different color surfaces. And that'll just help me decide what color that spore print is. On the bottom one, I have a piece of plastic that I have a little New Jersey painted white on it. So you have a black and a white. So you get a good contrast. And I even like to take, if you're going to do any sort of further microscopy or anything like that, put the slide right down immediately, either ripping a chunk off or just sticking it under a little bit to try to get some, because you actually want to not leave that go too long, because too many spores becomes its own kind of issue. After you take that thing out of the jar of water, it looks very different a lot of times.
So this is that dried jelly fungus that you put in a cup of water.
Yeah, I mean, and this is about an hour or so later, so not really that long, and it is relatively reconstituted. And you can get some of the details, some of the wrinkles, some of these dots in there. Couldn't get it to drop any spores after that, but it might have just been too old. So then on your spore prints on your slide, the one that I broke off a little chunk,
How
that's
long do you leave it to collect a spore print, Chris?
that depends. I come back and check a whole bunch, because some things, if you leave them a half hour, there's piles of them. Some produce way better than others. So I keep checking, and it could be anywhere from a half hour to 3 days or whatever, depending on the quality of the specimen, almost more than anything else.
And do you put anything over the mushroom while it's sitting there on the
Almost
slide?
never.
Uh-huh.
Uh, Really, it can, if there's a breeze in the air, maybe a little bowl or something, but I never really want them sealed up. It just doesn't seem to do as well. Something about them maybe drying out a bit usually seems to help me. And some like this, even an older one, will leave you a real serious pile of spores. They're just heavy producers. And this wasn't that long at all. It was maybe an hour, hour and a half. And same with this one. And you can see on the white and black how that contrast lays out. And everything past this is microscopy. But really, by the time I get home, this is just a couple of minutes of putting things out the right way, snapping another extra picture or two, and that's really it. And that's a weekend in the woods for me. And there's all kinds of different mushrooms, which, I'm sure other people could attest to how they may do it. I don't really collect a lot of crust fungus, but I'm sure there's a certain knack to that. And lichens, I'm not entirely sure of, because I know they grow slow. And same thing goes for a lot of these shelf mushrooms. I don't know enough about them, and I don't want to remove something that may be there for years or decades. So if anybody else has any input on that, please share.
And how do you go about identifying what you found?
Bring them to Taxonomy Tuesday. But
So, do is there anyone who has questions or comments they'd like to make at this point?
I have a question about the plastic bag. Um, I was surprised to see that because I've always heard don't put your mushrooms in plastic bags because they can't breathe. They'll start to sweat and it'll accelerate the decomposition.
I, I think if you had them in there and you didn't blow it up, it might it would probably do that, especially that the one that I had there that I think is some variety of foliota. They have a real sticky cap, and it doesn't get, as long as you blow air into it, they never seem to get weird.
Thank you. In a pinch, I've done it myself, and it seemed okay for short periods of time. So I didn't
And
know if I was just lucky or what, but yeah. All right, good.
I think too, if that might be more prescient if you were eating them.
Hmm.
But if I'm just gonna take them home to take some spores and look at some stuff under the microscope, if they get a little weird, no big deal.
I've often used paper sandwich bags and written on the bag itself with a marker where I found it, uh, and any notes like what I see growing around or what it was growing on. And that's worked for me as a system.
Yeah, that's usually what I pack for forays: is paper bags and uh, containers that blackberries and blueberries come in, and maybe some like larger ones just to help keep everything separate.
Small plastic boxes with compartments um, work well for little things, but if you use a little plastic box like that, you should drill holes in so each compartment is able to aerate a little bit, and even then they'll sweat. So it's good to open it once in a while and with some air in or out.
Other questions or comments?
Those were some very nice indoor photos. Yeah, it's a pretty good setup there, and I think you're using some sort of macro light, you called it, to shine on things. Because those were really good photos for indoor photos,
It's
and the attachment to the phone works really well.
it's an add-on lens kit. They're like they're like $30, and they usually come with like a telescopic lens that is like as decent as any pair of binoculars I've ever owned. Comes with a little macro lens. That's what I use for all of that. It comes with a fisheye lens and some other thing which I have zero interest in, but it really is super convenient, and it takes your phone like definitely to the next level.
And it looked to me like your light source was that window behind the table there. So you had natural light, but it wasn't direct sunlight. So colors and details weren't washed out.
That's the best thing I figured out how to do so far, is just to take the photo, like try, or at least attempt to just be in the right light. Like even if you're outside, like don't be right out in the sun. It's better to go find the shade of a tree because it's just gonna, I don't know, take away any of the. I'm not sure what they call that when the light reflects back too much.
Glare.
Yeah.
Yeah, one thing that no, I don't use a phone. I use just a Sony camera, like a $200 camera. But something I learned this fall at NEMF that seemed counterintuitive. Um, when I photograph, especially in low light, I actually turn down the exposure. Like there's just a setting. Even though it's just a little camera that's only gives you so much control. So I turn down, and then what I do is when I put the photo on my laptop, I edit by adding in exposure and brightness, and maybe knocking down the highlights a little bit. And that gets rid of some of the glare. It's a good way to control some of the glare.
Ooh.
So one trick I've used is to shade the mushroom with my body while I'm taking the photo on site.
Nice.
I do that
Oh
too.
yeah. Or I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I just do the same thing. I do it too.
Yeah, or get someone to stand and make a shadow. But even then, what the direction where the light is coming from, like alongside the shadow, might produce a little bit of glare. So I'll take my hand and I'll move it around where the light seems to be producing a little extra glare on the subject. And sometimes I can control the glare a little bit more, even though it's in a shadow. There's still light coming in from the ambient light um, that's basically filling an area.
The other problem I have tried to address in taking photos on site is when there's not enough light. So I usually carry with me some uh, aluminum foil folded up that I can open up to reflect light onto the underside, in particular, of the mushroom when I'm taking photos on site.
Oh,
That's a good
cool.
idea. I never thought of that.
Yeah, or you can take a piece of cardboard and glue foil to the cardboard, and so I carry around like a one of those reusable grocery bags, and I put all my stuff in that, including my paper bags and plastic containers and all that. But I also take a piece of cardboard with aluminum foil glued to it. But before you glue the aluminum foil to a piece of cardboard, you should crinkle it up really well. And what that does is it causes the light to be reflected in many different directions. So you don't get like a concentrated beam of light that will also cause a little bit of glare.
So instead of like a mirror, you get like a soft light.
Yeah, it softens it, right? Yeah, because it diffuses the light in many different directions.
That's a good one.
I'll carry a little flashlight sometimes and stage those, one or two of them. It sometimes works out okay.
That's what I saw that Alan Rockefeller on online doing. He actually had more than one light because one of his flashlights he said put out like a different color than the other. So if he uses both of them, it kind of evened out or something.
Well, he has a UV flashlight and then a regular light, which is color neutral. You can buy LED lights online, which are color neutral. So he has both. And
Oh, go ahead, Mike.
there are some fruiting bodies that uh, react to the ultraviolet light in different ways. So you can get striking photos, and it also helps with the ID.
Yeah, and you can buy these light sticks that you can have like 10 different colors. And I think he uses that sometimes too. But it's a lot to carry around in the field, I find. So, you know, it's, yeah.
And when you've got the fruiting body home and are taking spore prints, are there any tricks when the fruiting body is of different kinds? Like say it's a jelly fungus. Uh, how do you get a spore print from that? Or coral fungus?
I don't think I've ever even attempted a coral fungus.
Yes, and how long what's the longest, what's the longest, a spore print might take?
With a polypore, it could take a week just to get enough spores to see under the microscope. But getting back to the other types of fruit bodies that were just brought up, all you need to know is where the fertile surface is, and you just want the fertile surface to be pointed down onto your collection medium, whether it's um, a piece of glass or a microscope slide or a black and white surfaces. And coral fungus, basically all the branches are just covered by the fertile surface. So you just need to lay the coral down to where you want the print to be. For ascos, usually, like for cup fungi, it's usually inside the cup. That's the fertile surface. Um, for jellies like tremula and Dacromyces, spores are born all over the exterior surface. So you don't want to put it down upright though. Put it like turn it upside down. And for things like auricularia, that would be the inside. That's a tree ear. That would be the inside of the cup. So you just need to know where the fertile surface is and have that pointed down. And one problem is that ascos, like Piziza and some of these false morels that we talked about a few weeks ago, two things. They take a long time to mature. Some of them, not Piziza, not so much, but the false morels do. So if the fruit body is immature, it'll just lie there forever and dry out, and you're not going to get any spores. But another problem is, particularly with Piziza, the fragile cup fungi, as soon as you touch the fruit body when you're harvesting it, a whole bunch of spores will shoot out like a cloud of smoke. Um, and that's because they actually do shoot out. What is that? Operculate? What's the word? I forget.
Yeah,
But
operculum.
anyway, the top of the ascus shoots off, and the spores all shoot out all at once. And after that happens, you might not get any more spores to come out for maybe not ever. So sometimes I'll carry a few microscope slides around with me, and if I run across a Piziza, I'll tap the slide right on the top of the Piziza, and if spores shoot out, at least maybe I can get a few on the slide.
I tried that another 3 times this year, and that Piziza I showed a couple weeks ago, I kept getting more in my yard, and I got no spores.
Huh. Now, have you tried harvesting them and turning them upside down on a slide? Did you get anything like that?
I just kept getting what I think were immature ones. It just never turned out.
Yeah. Ascos they don't always cooperate for producing spores for you to see.
When I'm trying to get a spore print from a very small, fragile mushroom, I'll often take a 3x5 and cut a slit from one edge and then a little circle for the stem or stipe to go through, and then put slide on one side of it and a cup over it. Because the problem with really small, fragile mushrooms is that they dry out too fast before you can get spores to drop. But I found that works pretty good.
Yeah, I'm just learning that selectivity in the bowl, putting the bowl over, it's like, I thought originally I should put it over everything, and then Dave taught me that like really moist mushrooms, they'll just get more moist under there, and you have kind of a wet, soggy print, if even a print like a sweaty, some, kind of mess. But like you said, the little ones will dry out, and that it just happened to me. I was trying to get a spore print on this Cynia, one of those disc gyrometras, and it just dried out before I could get a print. So, at even 24 hours wasn't long enough, but I don't think I'll get one, and because it was all shriveled up. So had I put the bowl on, maybe that was the answer.
Like I had it when I was a kid, like I had it when I was in high school, kind of mono and then
Could you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So was it what was, do you know what the species was, the Gyromitra? Is it a Gyromitra, one of the Esculenta types, or is it one of these that's been now reclassified? Those are notorious for not dropping spores. It's if you collect them when they're immature, you just won't get any spores.
So are there any other comments or questions? If not, what I'm thinking is we'll go to Dave's observations. Let me set things up here. Are you ready, Dave?
Sure, yeah.
Simpleton, there's not that many others. Then back to you. Empire for 4. After totaling the top hours and found
So can you see my screen here?
and just come.
Yeah, I see like a path through the woods.
A path through the woods. All right, hold on.
Very beautiful, lush environment.
Yeah.
Correct. 1 team players for 400. The late great Bill Russell and Casey Jones, both of whom also coached the team to championships.
Oops, that's not the right one either. Just a second.
Players for 200.
Here we go. Now you should see it.
Oh, good. Right. Yeah, this was the one I sent as an afterthought. Is this a fungus? I'm not even sure. These little nodes on this branch that fell off an apple tree. We have an apple tree in our yard. Branches die and fall off. And these little things look like they probably had fruited from the wood and poked through the bark. So I think there's some sort of fungus, but I tried doing some microscopy and I just got pretty much not much of anything. There might be a couple of photos here of what I got through the microscope. But I think now that one on the right there, that really looks like some sort of fungal fruit body.
Yes.
So not just like a stem that broke, or the stick that broke off the branch or anything like that. So
Yeah, I've seen this a few times, Dave. I've never been able to figure out what it is. Or
okay, now look, I thought it was
maybe not.
probably an asco, but look at this. Okay, I did get some micro. Those look like Basidia. And that's, I don't know
Cool.
if this is from the fruit body or it's just something that was in the air and it landed on the fruit body. I don't know. But I only found one of these. It looks like a spore. So, mysterious, a mystery. So, Brandon, you didn't get any ideas when you found this sort of thing, did you?
I mean, nothing. I couldn't even put it in a proper family, really.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what this reminds me of are the so-called kiwi bubbles.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. Yep. It seems
Dave,
to
what
be
was it? What
fruiting
was
in a
it? That was
similar
on a.
fashion.
This was on a twig.
Um, yeah, a small branch, maybe an inch in diameter, 3/4 inch diameter, or something like that.
Okay.
I think actually I have it over here. Let me get it. I still have it here.
One of the websites that Jason's mentioned would probably give us that answer. I'm gonna try to find it.
Okay, I'll turn on my camera.
All right, let me stop
Then maybe
sharing
I get
here.
situated again. And so you can see it. Here it is live.
So it looks
It's that
like 3/4 of an inch in diameter, maybe.
a little bit more than 3/4, maybe a little less than an inch, maybe 3/4. So I guess my memory was working. That, but you can see they're all here and there,
Yep.
and it looks like they had fruited from the wood and broke through the bark.
Yes.
So pretty interesting. I really don't know what it is. I don't know where to start. And those things that I found under the microscope, and I didn't find very many. I looked and looked, I scraped stuff a few times, and that was the one time I found those things that look like Basidia, really. They look like they have, what do you call them? Is that the sterigmata or those are the connectors on the Basidia, right? Sterigmata, or is that on? Yeah, yeah. See,
Where
see, look
where
at
do you
the
where do
ends.
you see steric model on these?
Look on top. I think
Yeah,
there's like
to
three of
me
them on that one.
it looks like it's like if you cut a straw on an angle. That's what that looks like to me.
Oh, okay. Actually, I'm looking now. It looks like there might be something like a round thing. So maybe that's actually an ascus.
I don't think it's a reproductive structure in my opinion,
Yeah, probably not. I don't. It's probably just some debris from the wood or something.
because the thing that you were showing is almost certainly an ASCO.
That's what I would think.
Yeah.
And if
Okay.
that's a spore, that looks like an ascospore.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, no, that could be things like Dacromyces and
Yeah,
Tremula. They have spores that look like that. They're more segmented though. So I don't know.
there's.
Oh god.
I know you're more of a mo guy, but if you get on to iNaturalist, there's this fella up in Canada, Igor something. I can forward you his uh, username. But whenever I find stuff like this, I just kind of peruse his observations
Oh,
until I see something that looks similar, and he knows a lot about these things.
oh, okay. That sounds good. This is
Okay.
on INET.
I also
Um,
wanted to recommend the US National Fungal Database where you can search fungi by host plant. That Jason
oh,
shared with me. And unfortunately, I'll put the link in the chat, but unfortunately, I keep trying to open it on my iPad and I get this weird message saying this connection is not private. This this website might be impersonating or something. So I think it's just my iPad and Safari or something. But you might want to look into that. It's by host. You could look up apple, apple tree, right?
all right. Yeah, that's at least something to go on. Okay,
That's
so
National Fungal Database.
yeah, if I know that, if I don't have that, I don't have that on my bookmarked on my computer. I should. Um,
And in the chat, Lila posted a suggestion.
okay. Oh, so we have
Biscognia ox.
oh, ooh, well, I don't know what that is. So that's getting pasted onto my. Let me let me get out of full screen here and just okay. So I just pasted that. Oh, I see. Oh, look at that. Ooh, well, I just um pasted that Latin binomial into my um web address bar, and something came up that looks like this. So, all right, so good. Okay,
Okay, let's
got something
let's.
to go on here. All right, thanks. This I think I figured out what this is. This is a rust that affects roses, and this is on a stem of multiflora rose right near ground level. And I found some stuff online that says that this particular rust has many stages, and the first stage is that um, spores are come out of the ground and infect the stem of the rose, and those are special kind of spores. And they what I found online, it looks like what I have here because I scraped some of this onto a slide and scoped, and this is what I found. And there you see also a chunk of the fruit body um, has a bunch of those spores coming off of it or
And
stuck
this
to it or
this is
whatever.
the time of year to look for it like this. I often see this time of year.
Right. Yeah, there's different stages. So if you read about these kind of things, you see all these different descriptions of spores because each stage has like its own kind of spores, or maybe
Right.
more than one kind of spores in a given stage. So, but this is the initial stage apparently, where the fungus comes out of the ground and first infects a stem of a rose plant. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And this is now we found something at Victor Gambino last year. No, it wasn't. No, it was Mont Alto. I think Dorothy was there. I don't know if Dorothy is here tonight. She might remember.
I don't,
Oh,
I don't
uh,
see her here.
oh, okay. I thought that's what you said, Karen. Um,
No,
that
she wasn't there.
what? Oh, she just thought she knew what it was. Oh, okay, because you showed it to her. I see.
Somebody took it and showed it to her.
Oh, okay, I see. So
Hey,
we found
I
something
didn't know
like
about
this
that.
at the Mont Alto Foray last year, and it's what's the lichen that it's on?
Parmotrema hypotropum.
Parmotrema hypotropum, and it's this red, like like a covering, and it doesn't scrape off very easily. I tried to do some micro, and you have to enlarge this photo if you can. I think these needle shaped things, I think they might be spores, and I don't think they're lichen spores. So I found a lot of these needle shaped things in the mound. They were here and there. So I suspect maybe this is a fungus, and these are the spores, but I don't know what it is. Yeah, the Helen Mycnis foray, right? That's the one. Okay, Dorothy wasn't there. Karen just maybe showed her, or somebody showed her, and she thought she had an idea.
Somebody took it. I thought, I could be wrong.
Oh, somebody took it maybe. I I put it online on Mushroom Observer and maybe even iNet. I forget, but I haven't got any. Oh, the thing that was found last year, which is probably the same thing as this, whatever it is. So that was kind of an interesting one. I didn't really make any headway on it. Now this, I think I know what this is, and it's a new word for me because I've been trying to just get as many species names as I can posted to iNet for the City Nature Challenge, which ended yesterday. And so there's a Northeast Pennsylvania group that some guy in Scranton started. So I told him I'd get as much fungi and lichen posted as I could. And this is a half-free morel, Marcella punctipes, and this is a fairly common site especially on the half-free morels. They seem to be the most fragile and most vulnerable. But this is like a mold that infects morels. You'll see it on other kinds of morels as well. And I think I should have scoped it. I should have done a little work on this one, but I think I figured it out anyway, because there's lots of examples online and lots of discussion online about this white mold that infects morels. And there's a lot of information on it because it affects an industry. Places that cultivate Marcella to sell, it's a problem for them. So
Is that
so
something
there's
that might spread through your basket as well?
I don't know, maybe, I this mushroom was not. I had a few other morels. We found like 5 morels that day, so some black morels and some half freeze, and it was not in the bag with the other ones for very long. And then when I got it home and after I made sure I got pictures, I trimmed it and got all the white stuff off of it and dried it out. So I'm assuming it's probably all right. But um, I mean, if this was a dangerous sort of thing, we probably would know by now because it's pretty common, and a lot of people eat a lot of morels, right? So if there was a danger associated with this, I think we would probably know about it.
At some point, I had read, I thought it was in my Gold Closed Morel book, and it may not be about this fungus that you're showing, but that one of the reasons the like Midwest morels are the best morels, which they are, of course, is because there's another fungus growing on them, and that it improves their flavor. So I don't want to spread misinformation. I'm not saying this is it, but and it's funny because I haven't heard much more about it, but at some point I read about it. So and I see this something similar on morels sometimes, and I don't pay it mind at all. It's like sometimes it'll be on the stem. There'll be like maybe a crack in the stem, and just right around the edge I'll see that, and I've never been like I'm throwing this out.
I have Michael Quo's book on morels. I'm going to look in there and see, because if that can be found any place, if this information can be found any place, it's probably in that book. Okay, thanks. I'll check that.
So it's 7:56, Dave. We've got time to
Okay, yeah, let's look at this thing. These are very old polypores on ash that died years, several years ago. And these polypores have been on this tree for quite a while. I didn't get any spores to fall out of them because there's probably no more spores in this thing. But I was kind of interested, what species is this? It's got this brown pore surface, grayish brown. The pores are fairly good size. I'm not sure if I have a photo here that is a little bit more of a close up on the pores. And that's KOH. KOH on the upper surface turns black. So it's not like a Trametes. KOH doesn't turn Trametes black. Turns Trametes yellow or orange. So I just wondered if anybody might have a suggestion for this. I couldn't get any. There were no spores that came out of it. I think I tried to scope and just didn't find anything that looked very useful.
That's way too small to be like,
Sorry, my internet dropped out. What's the underside look like? You said you were thinking this looks like a Trametes.
No, it's not Trametes because KOH would not turn black on a Trametes, and I don't think Trametes mainly KOH turns like yellow or orange. The underside has fairly good sized pores, like two or maybe 3 per millimeter. And did I not get a close up? I should have posted a close up.
what about Daedalea confergosa?
Yeah.
Oh, the pores are too regularly shaped. I would say they're not.
Okay.
There's no corners and they're not elongated. Yeah, I don't know. If I think you might be able
Can
to.
you zoom in on the
You
edge?
might be able
Can
to
you zoom in on
this
the
a
12
little bit.
o'clock?
Yeah, they're elongated on the edge.
Oh, they're elongated on the end. Okay, yeah. Oh, so maybe this is Daedaleopsis. Ah, okay. I'll check for what the chemical reaction is.
Or yeah.
How different is that species from Daedalea corsina?
Well, Daedalea corsina only grows on oak, and it's quite
Only
a
on
bit
oak.
different. The pores are a lot bigger and the walls are thick.
Wait, what did you say happened with KOH or didn't?
KOH on the upper surface of the cap turned black.
Yeah, all parts dark gray to black with KOH. All parts, it says.
So that's for Daedaleopsis confergosa?
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be that. Yeah, that's as good a suggestion. I mean, I didn't come up with anything, and yeah, that works. And just this one really quickly, and then I have to go. This used to be Chromacera cyanophylla, but that is now recognized as a European species. And actually, Django Grootmeyers did the work on this. I think it was part of his PhD species. I'm not sure. He used some material I provided. He put me as a co-author on the big paper. It was very nice of him to do that. And so now this is Chromacera. What is it? Lilacifolia. The name is there. Yeah, Lilacifolia. That's the new name of the American lilac guild, Chromacera. So this grows on conifer wood. I usually found it on hemlock. So this is a cool looking mushroom. When you turn it over, it has these nice sort of lilac colored gills.
Are you like instantly surprised?
The first couple of times I found this and it was fresh and the gills were still lilac, I was surprised. But now I know what it is and I know what the habitat is and I know they grows early in the season. So as soon as I see these little guys on hemlock or before I even turn it over, I know. But you don't always get the purple gills. Sometimes when they get a little older, they fade and then they're kind of drab.
That thing's lovely.
Yeah, they're very nice.
Dave,
yeah.
Dave,
really
just hemlock or
pines, also probably spruce, probably all kinds of conifers. Well,
and is
wood
the cap
that's been dead for a while.
And is the cap dry, or do they go through a sticky phase?
Not really sticky. Maybe a little bit oily feeling. I think these are in the Hygrophoracea. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, because I found something that I wanted to call Chromacera at a foray this past summer, um, and Nina was like, "No, it's Hygrosophy luteus or something like that." So it
Yeah,
could,
there's also Gliophorus too. If it's really sticky and slimy, it's probably Gliophorus or that one species of Hygrosophy that's also very sticky and
but
glutinous.
would luteus do they have lilac or purplish gills at all?
There's one Hygrosophy that has purple gills, and I forget the name of it. I don't think it's particularly slimy though. Might be a little bit oily feeling. Hygrosophy. I think the name actually implies purple gills,
Right.
or that one's not real common. I find that up in Vermont once in a while.
I could see
Okay.
maybe a Lucaria being confused for this, maybe.
Licarias are much more resilient. The context is just more resilient. They're sort of stringy and fibrous. These guys are fairly fragile.
Okay. Beautiful mushroom.
Yeah, they're very nice. And I think I'm going to have to go now. I want to get start watching that mammoth thing. So thanks for letting me go first, and I guess I'll see you all next week.
Thanks for the shares, Dave. They were interesting.
Oh, you're welcome, and thanks for helping. And Lila, thanks for that suggestion on those little knobs on the apple branch. That looks like it probably is what it is. Okay, see you all next week.
Night, Dave.
Disclaimer: there's a
Bye.
lot of things that look like that.
Yeah, okay. Well, at least I have a name of one now. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye, Dave. Brandon, do you want to go next?
Sure.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. Can you guys see my screen?
We can.
Okay, cool.
Now we see your observations.
Yeah, I've been having computer issues, so I hope we're good here. But I found this thing a couple weeks ago.
Okay, we can see it.
That thing's pretty tiny, huh?
Yeah, very small. Well, actually, not very, very small. I measured the largest one at just under, right around 2 millimeters. So larger than other things that I look at. But a really cool kind of torn rim and a true rim around the things. Kind of look like a drum, not as much disc-like, more drum-like, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But growing terrestrially, which is interesting. I'm assuming that it's associating with this struggling moss or bryophyte type deal, which Octospora does. In fact, a lot of the species are kind of host specific on different species of bryophytes. You can see that moss isn't doing too hot, especially on this more mature one. So
it looks like it's growing right out of the tip of one of the moss.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't say for sure what it's growing on. I mean, like I said, they're pretty small, so this was the largest one that I found. Maybe a little bit more than 2 millimeters, maybe.
Oh wow, that's
Oh,
a good one.
wow.
Yeah, and the thing that I find hilarious about this is, it's the genus is called Octospora, which would indicate, 8 spores per ascus. Um, how did this mushroom get that name out of all the other 8 spored fungi out there? 8 spored Ascomyces. How did this one get that name? Especially because when you key these things out, the distinction is between are they 4 spored or 8 spored. So a large number of, well, not a large, but a percentage of this genus is actually only 4 spored. So yeah, what's in a
There's
name?
still Actospora though in that genus. Yeah, right.
Yes.
The four
Yeah.
spored ones aren't Quattrospora.
Right, exactly. The 4 spored ones are still Octospora.
That's so crazy. Right. Funny.
But yeah, you can see big dino eggs on this one. There is quite a bit of spore morphology variance within the genus. Some of them, another, when you key these things out, another distinction is is the Q on the spore less than or more than 1.1. So are they more or less globose, or are they more or less ellipsoid, which these ones fall into the latter there. Really thin-walled ascus, also pretty thin-walled spores, about the same size on the cell wall there. Pretty much every mature spore that I came across had one single droplet, guttural. And then the paraphyses on these are really interesting. Most of them, you can see on the left, bottom left here, more or less cylindric with a rounded end. But then there were these oddballs, like this one looks like a bowling pin. The one underneath of it has kind of undulate margins, edges, but all of them are encrusted or granular with this kind of golden orange color. Yeah, look at this one, how undulated it is.
And is this at the edge of the cup, or is this a cross section of the cup?
This would be a cross section of the cup. So you can see these are the aci down here. See these, I'm focused on the paraphysis. What's the singular? Parathecia, I guess. Paraphysia. Paraphysum. I don't know what the singular of paraphyses are. Paraphysis. Paraphys. Anyway. But these rounded things are the asci, and then the sterile elements kind of rise above that. But interestingly, I'm pretty sure this is Octospora, but these things are really not well understood, at least in the U.S. I came up with a name. I keyed it out on a couple different things, and I came up with this name, Octospora gylictoides. But that ends up being it's only a European thing. So I'm not sure what this is. And I just want to go over to the key real quick, because the dimensions on the spores that I measured were 19.66 by 13. So I keyed it out and I got to 15.
Right.
My spores were 19.66. So is it bigger than 20 or less than 20 by 13? Is it, wider than 13 or not as wide as 13, which yeah, I don't know what to do once I hit that point.
Where's that key from?
This one, Jen Eckstein. And I also used a different key. I probably have that open somewhere. I used a different key to come up with Gylictoides. Where are the notes on this thing? But the key was from ASCO France.
Okay.
Oh, here it is. Yeah, the French ASCO site, which is a really good resource for ascomycetes, obviously.
Very cool.
All right.
Wow.
I was hoping Jason's not here, right? Because he has one of the only other observations of Octospora in New Jersey, and he put a name to his. So, but mine doesn't match his.
He's not here.
And how are they differing primarily?
He had selected one of the ones that was more globose in the spores. They were closer to 1.1 in terms of the Q ratio. I think that was the distinction. But again, he was able to identify the moss that his was growing on. Unfortunately, I don't know my mosses all that well. So
Right.
then this thing is cool. I joined the Burkharts in Franklin Parker this past Sunday. And down in the Atlantic white cedar swamps, we were finding, I mean, just a ton of fungi. Kind of the usual suspects that we find down there. The sphagnum associated type things. But I found this at the edge of one of those cedar swamps. And you can see on this photo, the cap is pretty hygrophanous. Gills are really tight for something found at the edge of a cedar swamp. This was kind of unexpected when I got to the stipe, and the gills. When I say unexpected for this stipe, it's mostly because that to me is a gymnopus stipe, and maybe this is washed out a little bit and you can't make it out. But it has that translucent kind of ivory quality that we talk about when we're talking about things like gymnopus or colibioid type deals.
Looks like it's got that like flatness to it too.
Yeah, what do they call that? Bifurcated? Sure. Bifurcated?
It's like you glued two straws together or something.
Yeah.
Oh,
Got that line going down the middle of it. But it was a hollow stipe as well. Important to note. And then, the spores are kind of what you expect to see in, I don't know, most colibioid type fungi. Kind of seed shaped, more or less, like sunflower seeds. Some of them twisted a little bit. Anyone have an opinion on ID here?
so that it's Atlantic cedar or whatever around there.
Yeah, and you can see like this is the very edge of the sphagnum.
And the tree right behind is
hardwood.
like what?
some kind of hardwood. I would probably a blackjack oak.
Okay. Hmm.
Yeah, there were a few people that wanted to call this Gymnopus dryophyllus, but I can't quite explain why I don't think it's that.
Yeah, it doesn't really have the look exactly.
It doesn't look like that.
And it was the only one right there. Just that
Yep.
one.
Yeah, just the one. Just
Hmm.
the one. So
Hmm.
Nice find.
yeah, I think so.
So
And
rhizomorphs are at the base, right? So, or
no, well, at least I didn't catch any.
okay.
Certainly could have been, but
Oh, and did you do microscopy on it?
Yep.
And was there chylocystidia?
I didn't find. I didn't do great micro on it. I just did the spores more or less, and the when I did smash mount of the gills, I think I just didn't do a good enough job because the chylocystidia on what most gymnopolis are shorter, if I'm not mistaken, than a lot of the other micro, like basidia and things like that. So I just kind of got a line of bastidials and basidium.
Does the rhizomorphs look kind of pinkish yellow? Do you think?
I don't think I see any rhizomorphs.
No, not really. Okay, okay.
At least I can't make them out in distinction from the sphagnum.
All right. Thanks.
Huh.
Thank you, Brandon.
It's fun finding real mushrooms again.
Yeah.
I'm so happy for you guys, and lots of people finding the diminutiva out there, from what I can see on Facebook and stuff. So that's cool.
So are you ready to go, Hunter?
Okay. Sure. Thanks. And I haven't had a chance to really look into any of the pictures I'm showing you, but these were in a burn area, where they did a restoration burn. And there was like 100 of these. I mean, there's in Arizona in the winter, I see those like false earth stars everywhere. Here, it's rare to see too many at one time, but these were really littered all over the area. And it was neat, but they're clearly cooked. Unfortunately, the picture, if you go out a little bit, zoom out, yeah, there's three of them. And so, I mean, I know it's not triplex. I can tell triplex is that the one, but I haven't looked into it at all. Is it Geastrom? I don't know. So any ideas on which Earth star this is? I can bring it up and try to. It looks like maybe just it's one of the Geastroms, but which one? I'm not positive.
Doesn't seem like we're going to be very helpful to you, Hunter.
That's okay. I can look into it, but I wanted to. I like to share stuff, and it was pretty, they're always so cool to see. Yeah, it may be, and so, I mean, and so to identify these things, like, I think you would, like, sometimes it's, if it has, like how many petals it has, but also, like this one, triplex, I think that's the name, I'm blinking out, has a collar around the central sphere.
And this central beak is a distinguishing feature.
Yeah, I mean, of this, of all of them though, right? Or do they differ? The
Well,
beak-
there are some that don't have that kind of beak.
Okay. Okay.
Are these the kind of ones that you just like, they're not like really attached to the ground so much?
Yeah,
They're just kind of like, you pick them up.
exactly. Yes. Well, and especially in this case where they were burnt, but yeah, seems like they're always kind of like that. Yeah.
Ah,
Oh, yeah. And then this is on Mayapple, and it's Puccinia podophyllii, a rust. And I was able to get a close enough picture so you can see the little, it's like little cups. And so this really just, I think I'm gonna see it every morel season on May apples. It's the May apple rust, and it doesn't kill the May apple. Typically, the May apples do fine, and they just kind of coexist.
later in the season, you'll see the teleomorph spores, which are little black dots on the other side of the leaves.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and this was just a nice flush I found in the pouring rain. My phone's kind of steamy, but yeah, this is the second, really the third time this year where I found them sort of, multiple morels coming out of the same basically point, and that's a real treat. It's been a long time since I've found them like that. So, but we need rain again. It missed us. We were supposed to get some in the last couple days, and it missed us. And so I'm waiting for rain to go back out. Well, probably try to wait for the rain before looking, because I think it's slowing down at the moment. So we don't really get a lot of the diminutiva. These are probably Morchella americana again. But I sometimes find the diminutiva, but well, and I haven't gotten into any tulip poplars because it's turkey hunting territory, and I'm a morning person, so I'm very frustrated by it. I'd like to get in there, but I'll see if I find diminutiva there this year, but I'm gonna again wait till it rains. So, and then I found another Verpa conica, and that was kind of cool. This one's really full mature. You can see on the next, this one, that the cap has really filled out. And so those just attach at the very top of the stem, and they don't have any gills or real pores. So yeah, and I have that. I have it, but I think I might have laid it down somewhere, but I don't think I'm gonna end up being able to do any microscopy on it. But I like finding these, they're neat, and the same spot is I found one last year as well.
Cool.
Yeah. And then I think I have Verpa Bohemica too, but I might not have sent it. Or I
No,
might. Okay.
these are all I have.
Okay. Yeah, that's it. So
Thank you.
yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for letting me share.
Sure. Is there anyone else who has anything to share? Well, it's early in the season.
Yeah, shoot, I did want to share that disc to Cynthia, but it didn't make it. So next week I will.
Yeah, I didn't get it.
Sorry.
I'd hate to be a like a too soon or a downer, like with the fire thing happening. But Brandon, what like do you usually find stuff like year after or same year?
What fire thing happening
Or
There
it's
was a
big.
big fire in New Jersey,
right now?
15,000 acres.
Oh no.
Oh, maybe he got kicked off the internet again.
Yeah, he's not here.
Oh, he always finds some cool things down there in the pines.
He might have gone to the NAMA lecture, which those are recorded, so you can watch it later for free. I think a lot of the burn stuff comes up. Certainly the burn morels out west come up the next spring. But
Right.
I don't know about other species, other genera.
Yeah, I do happen down that way near that fire every once in a while. My buddy's like right around the corner from it. So
It's
not
under
not
control.
that anything would be popping up this week, but
Yeah.
The fire's under control.
No.
ish,
Ish.
ish. I
Last
think
I heard, it was 50% contained.
well, that doesn't sound that great, honestly.
Yeah. There's a lot of wind today, hot and dry today. Yeah, I don't know. Up here, not very much rain fell on Saturday. It was pretty minimal.
That's what a bunch of people were saying. We got decent rain. It was like kind of on and off all day.
Nice, good. You know what's so weird about that, and sorry to change the subject, but that morel poisoning in Bozeman, Montana, I mean, that is like burn morel capital right there. Like, what were they doing? What was a restaurant doing buying morels from China cultivated when they're right there in burn morel central, you know? It, that just totally perplexed me, and to get that wrong, to serve them raw, unbelievable.
You could probably get them when you want them and not when they're only available.
Yeah.
Well, but even those, no, I mean, because those burn, they can get them, well, they could have gotten them dried at any rate, but yeah, I mean, it still seems pretty weird to me because they're right there, you know, in the massive burn morels, and I mean, and they're really abundant. I mean, really. So, and the seasons like, I mean, snow melt to snow basically. So, I mean, it's not like our morels that are out for 3 weeks. It's you just go to the right altitude, and you can get them, for 6 months stretch pretty much. So it seems really weird to me. I don't know what 6 months, but way longer than our season. So yeah, that was shocking.
Was that a recent thing?
It was 2023 actually, I think. Is that what you thought, Lila, or was it?
Yeah, I think it was 2023, and yeah, there were a couple of incidents. One of them was the big one involving the restaurant, and I don't know, quite a few people got sick.
Like over 50 people sick and 2 people died.
Right, 2 deaths because they were basically, totally raw or just barely warmed or something. But yeah, not good. Don't eat
Big
raw mushrooms,
mistake.
people.
Yeah, 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 kind of crazy.
Well, if other people don't have things to share or other questions or comments, maybe this is a place to end.
Yeah, do we
Got a
have
quick
a
one?
theme for next week?
What do you want to do?
Not as of yet, but all suggestions.
I couldn't prepare anything personally, but things always come across my mind where I'm like, oh yeah, we should do that as a theme.